When I was a waitress, I watched a little girl, four-ish, stab her plastic fork into her sandwich, repeatedly saying, "Die, die, 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 die." When I asked her what she was doing, her mother was in the bathroom for a minute, she replied with a straight face, "I like to kill things, but my mum says I shouldn't. So I picked ham, because I can't scream." While changing my daughter in front of the open closet door, she kept looking around me and laughing. I asked her what was so funny. She said, "The man." To which I replied, "What man?" She then pointed at the closet and said, "The man with the snake neck." I turned around and nothing was there. I'm afraid to look into the history of my house to see if anyone hung themselves in the closet. At least she wasn't scared. When my oldest was about 3 years old, I had a really weird dream where an alien was trying to take my son. I was lying in bed watching this alien take him by the hand and started taking him off towards the window. When I went to scream, I woke up. Here's the creepy part. I wake up to find my 3-year-old turning on the nightlight in our room. He turns to me and says, "Oh, it's okay, Mummy. The alien is gone." I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. When my niece was 5, she looked at me with a very serious face and said in her sweet little girl voice, "Auntie, I'm going to take your face and make you eat them. Then I'm going to make you spit them out and point them at you so you can see yourself without eyes." After this, she went back to playing with her Princess Celestia doll, like nothing had happened. My 2-year-old son was crying instead of napping in an upstairs bedroom at my in-laws' house. When I asked him why, he pointed out the window at the garage and said, "I can't sleep because of that sad man in the garage." There's no possible way he could have known it, but years earlier my husband's grandfather had killed himself in that garage. My kid's Catholic school is over 100 years old. There is a basement under the gym that's used for storage. I was subbing once and during recess one of the kickballs goes down the stairs. A little girl was standing at the top of the stairs yelling, "Just throw it up to me." I went over and asked who she was talking to and she replied, "That big man down the stairs." I went down and there was nobody down there and it was the only way in. I asked the kids if they had seen the man before and they said yes, but Sister told us not to talk to him. I asked them to describe Sister and they described a nun. And there haven't been nuns at the school in 40 years. My 3-year-old nephew was over my parents' house where my dad has a military collection from World War II. And when I went to show him some of the stuff, he started crying, so I asked him what was wrong. He replied, "Bad memories, a lot of friends lost." So I asked him where and he continued, 32 Tank Division in the South Pacific, only tank in the Pacific Theater. Immediately went to the internet and he was spot on. Nearly shit myself. My 15-month-old daughter and I was looking at pictures of animals and I was asking her what sounds they make. She would shout the responses. What does the cow say? Moo! What does the lion say? Rah! What does the polar bear say? She looked me right in the eyes and said softly, "Murder." I mean, she's not wrong. Polar bears are badasses. My friend was 2.5 at the time. She was sitting at the table doing some colouring and her mum asked her repeatedly to stop and get ready for the day. She initially wasn't responding and then after her mum asked a third time, she put down her pen, stared her mum blankly in the face and said, "Some little girls kill their mothers." I was tucking in my 2-year-old. He said, "Goodbye, Dad." I said, "No, we say good night." He said, "I know, but this time it's goodbye." Had to check on him a few times to make sure he was still there. My brother grew up being terrified of water. I'm 4 years older than him and during the nightly battle for bath time when he was about 3 or 4, I asked him why he is so scared of the water. Being a water baby, as my mum put it, I just didn't understand. He looked at me, and I remember this word from word. I was in a big, unsinkable ship. We hit the biggest iceberg, and then it was really busy, and then I got really cold and wet. I went to a bright, warm place and waited until my next family came. My mum heard it all and decided bath time was over. Creepy thing is, my brother was born April 15th, 1992. The Titanic sunk April 15th, 1912. My daughter said to me that there is a woman who watches her watch movies in her room and sleeps on the ceiling above her bed when she sleeps. She also says it does not like me and wants to eat my heart. My kid watches Elmo and fucking Dinosaur Train. Where the hell did she get this from? When my daughter was 3, one day she said to me, "Don't you remember, Mummy? Before you were the daughter and I was the mother. They came and chopped all our heads off. Chop, 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 chop. The whole village." She made vicious chopping motions every time she said the word chop. I was so taken aback, all I could think to say was, "Fortunately, sweetheart, I don't remember the head chopping." Her response was, "Well, it happened, and I remember it really well." When my son was about 4 or 5, we were in the toilet before his bedtime, and he was brushing his teeth, and he dropped his toothbrush, and I picked it up for him, and when my eyes met his, he just stared at me and said, "Dad, why does that man have a knife?" and pointed behind me. Quickest 180 I have ever fucking done.